And there we go. There we go. And just like that, we are live. So good morning, everyone. And no one at the moment. Because no one's watching because it's Sunday morning. It's cold. They're all wrapped up under their covers where they should be. Nice and warm. Matt, how are you?
I'm okay, thank you. Yeah, yourself?
I've had a week of on and off migraines. It's not been great, but it's just I don't know. It happens from time to time. Just attacks.
Yeah.
So the week's been a bit. Yeah. I go to bed thinking I'm okay, and then I wake up with just this tremendous pressure in my head and pain. It's just one of those things. But there we go. It's one of those things. Yeah. What can we do? So obviously it's Sunday morning. We're here for a live. I couldn't do one yesterday because I was taking Brody for his groom.
Okay.
Yeah, I took Brody for his groom, and then I popped over to New Cross to see Lee.
Oh yeah.
Because he kind of gave me this. I want to show this. I just want to show it because obviously I'm not doing a video opening, but it will be a part of my pickup haul. He kind of gave me a Ant-Man and Wasp.
Wow. Nice.
Steelbook, Blu-ray steelbook with a lovely lenticular on the front. Because I've ordered for Lee, I've got him the Hawkeye and Loki steelbooks.
Oh, okay.
On order for him because he can't order them himself at the moment from Zavi. So so he asked if I would order them, so I did, and I run Hawkeye over in the interim of Brody being cut. So there we go. But anyway,
very nice.
So thank you, Lee. You didn't have to do that, but there we go. But I will show that again in my monthly haul video, which is it's getting big. That video, that haul's getting big. No, I'm doing well. I'm doing quite well with my ignoring sales, not buying stuff. I think I'm doing pretty damn well with it. I did buy thingy yesterday. I told you. I treated myself to the steelbook of Forrest Gump because I watched, like I said, I watched Saving Private Ryan yesterday. I sat down in the afternoon. I watched Saving Private Ryan, and I thought to myself, well, I fancy a rewatch of Forrest Gump. Lo and behold, I don't have Forrest Gump in the collection. Right now, in my mind, I thought I had Forrest Gump on 4K.
Right.
Seriously, I thought I had a 4K version of Forrest Gump. I don't. And thinking that I had a 4K version of Forrest Gump, I got rid of the Blu-ray when I was doing culling. Although Forrest Gump is one of those films that I would have upgraded anyway at some juncture. I like Forrest Gump. I think it's a good film. So I did buy off Amazon. I ordered Forrest Gump, and it's just arrived about half hour ago. I might watch that later today.
Very good film. Very good.
Yeah. So what have you been up to? What have you been watching lately, Matt?
I
know what you're going to say, and I've got a question about it.
All right. I've been watching the Crow TV series.
It's not bad.
No,
go on.
That's been quite good. Okay. We watched the other night on Netflix. We watched a film called Ma, like a horror, kind of a horror thriller film, I guess.
Yeah,
that was all right. I think Amazon. At some point, we're going to watch Long Legs. That's on there now. So, but yeah, what else do we watch? Oh yeah, Alien Romulus. Watched that the other night on a rewatch. First time I've watched it again since the cinema.
Now that's where I've got a question for you.
Okay.
Alien Romulus. So do you want to carry on, or shall I stop?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. It didn't on the second rewatch. Yeah, the ending still for me is a bit daft, but overall, I still enjoyed it. My son, first time he's watched any Alien films. I mean, really, I should have introduced him to the first Alien film, but yeah, he quite enjoyed it. He didn't really know, obviously, going into it not knowing anything about Alien, but there's a couple of times he even jumped.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't mind. I'd say the one thing that the characters are very forgettable. The only two characters really for me that had any impact. One was Rook,
Yeah.
obviously from Ian Holm. I don't know whether he voiced it or whether it's just AI or what. I don't know. And Andy, I thought Andy was very good in it.
When
But
did he voice it because he's dead? Do you mean have they taken? I think they've probably taken other voice recordings of him and done something with them, if that makes sense.
okay, I didn't realise he's passed away, is he?
Yeah, I think he passed away in, was it 2020? Alexa, when did Ian Holm die? Ian Holm died on the 19th of June 2020 at the age of 88 years. 19th of June 2020, 88. He passed away.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew he died.
Fair enough.
Comes to us all. Comes to us all.
Yeah.
So my question. No, go on.
Go on.
No, go on. You're saying. Use mid-sentence. Go on. You guess what?
No, I was just going to say. Yeah, maybe they synthesized it or whatever.
Yeah. I think they probably took loads of. That's how I imagine. I may be completely wrong. They may have had a voice, a soundy like. I don't know, but yeah. I suspect that they took a load of recordings and you can do something with them.
The computer.
Yeah. But my question for you lies in that Rook character, and yes, the other good character in that. Well, I don't forget the good character in that film was the android.
Yeah, Andy. Yeah,
he was the sort of he was one who stole the film, so to speak. So my question comes with Alien Romulus because I was reading news and this sort of a thing, and there was an interview with what's his face, the director of the film, whose name eludes me at the moment.
Yeah.
Anyway, Alvarez, and he said that for the home release of this film, they have fixed the CGI on the android.
Okay.
All right. So my question to you is: you saw Alien at the cinema, did you not?
I did, yeah.
So is there any noticeable difference? Because I haven't watched it on physical media yet. So is there any noticeable difference between what you saw in the cinema, as you recall, and the atrocity that you saw on screen when you was watching your home video release?
I would have to say no. I can't. I mean, when I look, you can obviously tell that it is CGI. I wasn't sure whether it was deep fake when I was looking at it. There are a couple of scenes where it looks better than other scenes.
I think what they did was they had a practical effect. They had a dummy
puppet. Yeah,
and then they put the face over it, CG,
right.
Some deep fakes or whatever, the face over it. But what he says is, we fixed it. We made it better for release right now. I convinced the studio we need to spend the money and make sure we give the companies that were involved in making it the proper time to finish it and do it right. It's so much better.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't notice a huge difference to it. I mean, I think the shot that sticks out to me, which I think he looks the best in, is when you're actually seeing him on the TV screen toward the end of the film, and it's kind of like, sort of distortion and stuff. And
you're hiding the effect.
Yeah, but
you put a TV screen, you put fuzziness or distortion over it, you're hiding the effect, so it would look better.
Yeah, so it does. Yeah, I would say from that point of view, yeah, it looks far better in that scene. Again, I mean, well, it obviously was, well, 6 to 8 months ago that I saw it at the cinema, but I didn't sort of look at it and think, wow, that looks a lot better than I remember. It didn't really stick out as being anything that had been tinkered with, but
it's, you know, this is one of the issues. Like I said, he says in that film, in that interview, wherever I've put it, my phone in front of me, you know, and this is the worrying part is, you know, we fixed it, blah, blah, blah. We made it better for the release right now. I convinced the studio we need to spend the money and make sure we give the companies that were involved in making it the proper time to finish it and do it right. So, you know, there's reading between the lines. Obviously, there's an admission, and I get this, that they know, or he knows, that these are people who are working to such a deadline that,
yeah.
the studio to hit a certain date is allowing a substandard quality item, which isn't, you know, could always be better. I mean, something could always be better, but do you know what I mean? To be released, and they have to go back and they're going back and getting more money to fix it afterwards. I mean, this ain't the first time we've heard of that sort of thing happening.
Yeah.
You know, you've seen it in other things. I think it was another one that you know, Into the Spider-Verse, the second one of that. As we know, there were differences from the theatrical release to the physical media release because they weren't happy with the item that was released in the cinemas. It's I don't know. It's silly.
It's not good, is it, that they're rushing this stuff through? But like you say, it's no longer an art form, whereas back in the day it was. You know, but now it's just let's get it out as quickly as possible. We've got to get money back for the investors and all this sort of thing. But being done, yeah, it's too much about money now rather than the sort of let's produce, you know, an amazing film. Which, and this is where I think writing suffers because, you know, they don't allow time for scripts to develop. It's like, you know, 1 or 2 drafts or however many they do. And, you know, you probably find some of the writers are still frustrated because they've still got ideas they want to put in. And, oh, no, we can't do this because of this reason or budgets or whatever. And ultimately, a lot of these films suffer for it.
No, absolutely. They do. But there we go. So, yeah. So, what's been happening in other news? Jason Statham's new film's trailer has dropped. A Working Man.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen that, but I did see it pop up.
I switched it off. I switched the trailer off.
Oh, really? Not very good.
Yeah. That's just standard Jason Statham fare. And I'm not saying that to sound bad because I quite like Jason Statham, you know, in stuff. But it's just like, I'm just watching. And, you know, it was this time last year that The Beekeeper came out.
Yeah.
And, you know, I thoroughly enjoyed The Beekeeper on the first watch and I thoroughly hated it on the second watch.
Yeah.
Seriously, when I sat down with a wife and watched it, I thought, what crap. What this is crap. This is a badly written film. This is a horrendously badly written movie. I can't believe I enjoyed it on the first watch. I don't have it in the collection. It's not one that I ever picked up for that reason. It was it would probably make one of my least favourite films of the year last year, in that there was this just sudden turnaround and hatred for the movie. Like, I liked it. Second watch, I hated it. I've never had such a polarizing. I don't think I've ever had such a polarizing turnaround on a movie as quick as that. Alien Romulus is one that I would say I enjoyed on a first watch, and then it has, you know, on previous watch it has gone
down the ranking.
Yeah, gone down. And when I say a previous watch, because I know it sounds like I am kind of contradicting myself from what I said earlier, in that I never watched it on. I haven't watched the physical disc release. I watched it when it came up for download. That's how I watched it. Which I would probably sport the newer effects. I don't know, because this is the going back to that. This is the confusing thing for me, is that the film has been out on physical media for probably coming up to a month thereabouts, right? And yet we're only getting this news now of him talking about the him having fixed the effects. So my question was, were these effects fixed for a later Disney Plus launch, or is that different to what's been put onto the physical disc? I don't know.
No, is it on Disney Plus?
I don't know. I've not got Disney Plus, so I don't pay attention to any of that sort of stuff. Maybe someone watching could tell us if it's up or available or whatever. I don't know. And has anyone watching, have they noticed the difference in the Android when watching it? I don't know. But there we go. So, each day goes by at the moment, and we're getting, new casting news of characters appearing in Doomsday, Avengers Doomsday, which starts very soon. It's crazy to think that that's just around the corner. We have we have Captain America, we have Thunderbolts, we have Fantastic Four. So my fingers still still
there.
And then we have Avengers after that.
Wow.
So we know that, and I'm excited about this. Elizabeth Olsen is returning as Scarlet Witch.
Yes.
I'm super excited about that news. There's even rumours that Ian Grufford might be in it. As whether he's playing Mr. Reed, Reed Richards.
Reed Richards,
from the original Fantastic, which I'd be up for seeing a variant of him playing that, him in playing that character again. I'd like that.
Okay. That's kind of dipping into the Deadpool sort of side of.
Well, it's the end of the multiverse saga, isn't it? So you've got a multiverse. You've got to still play on that. You still got to give people that other characters. Hayley Atwell's obviously been cast. I'm hoping.
Chris Evans.
Yeah, he's not playing Captain America though, is he? Like the Captain, as far as I'm aware. I know there's the talk of Captain Hydra and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't be surprised if they do that. But Hayley Atwell, as if she's returning as a variant of Captain Carter, maybe the Captain Carter we've seen in the animated What If series,
right?
Rather than obviously the Captain Carter, because you got all these variants in you. So there was one killed in Doctor Strange. Here's another one for you. But there's a lot of casting news, but Elizabeth Olsen is good. I know that they're some of the young Avengers like Kate Bishop, Hawkeye is in it. Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, and that Riri Williams is her name, the Ironheart girl up at the end of Wakanda Forever, who's getting her own series at some point. And obviously the Young Avengers isn't a thing anymore. I don't think we're going to get Young Avengers film. It's just going to be called New Avengers, which makes sense because by the time you get to it, they're all going to be bloody adults anyway.
Yeah.
Time moves too fast for these people to be young. Stay young.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah,
out of that casting, the only person I'm looking forward to seeing is Hayley Atwell. Not Hayley Atwell, sorry. Out of the Young Avengers casting is Haley Steinfeld as Bishop. She's the only one that I got any interest in seeing back. Not so much the Miss Marvel character, Kamala.
No.
I've never read that.
Was there talk of a Hawkeye season 2, or is it just a one and done? You think?
No. They're moving forward with a season 2.
Oh, they are. Okay.
Yeah. There was talk of it being set in a building, much like the Raid kind of situation. get out of this building kind of thing. But I think that's crossed wires with something else. I don't think that's the situation with it. But yeah, obviously Jeremy Renner's coming back as Clint, which is always a welcome for me. Is a welcome return because I don't know. I really like the character of Hawkeye because he's that human element. He's the everyman. Okay, I know he's got skills as an archer, but he's that everyman hero kind of a thing that you can latch onto. He's the normal person of the group. A normal person who stood side by side with heroes and gods kind of a thing. And the thing I liked about the Hawkeye TV series a lot, and it probably stands as my favorite Marvel series, is that sort of PTSD trauma, the physical trauma and PTSD that he's suffering because of the loss of what happened with Natasha Romanoff when she gave her life off of the mountain thing, and also the injuries that he's incurred while doing his battles with the deafness and that. I think that's that stuff there so humanizes the character for me that I think it's I love that stuff. It's good stuff. But there we go. So anyway, let's talk about my title card for this
the thumbnail.
The thumbnail.
The black fingernail.
That'll drop off sometime. It's starting to grow out. It's starting to grow out. Soon it'll be, give it 6 months. We'll keep an eye on that. We'll do every time we have a live, we'll do an update on
on the fingernail.
Blackened fingernail. I was thinking of this. It's hideous. Like when I'm holding something, when I'm like, oh look, I'll pick this up. I'm like, oh look at that nail. Pick it up. You know what I mean? I hate it.
Wear a glove.
Either that or I'll just paint every nail black. Every nail black for a while, and that'll be fine. It'll cover it up. Or I could just do one red, like Penn and Teller fella. The Penn and Teller, bigger guy, the one who talks, not the quiet one. He got one now. I got one black now, but there we go. So anyway, sorry, my thumbnail. Enough is enough, Matt. Enough is enough. So collecting, because you forwarded me a video the other day, because I'll be honest, you watch far more content within the community than what I do. Right, you watch far more videos of other people. I do watch a lot of videos of other people. I don't often comment, but I'm watching stuff. But you watch far more than me, and part of my I don't know what's the right word to use. Recovery of trying to cut back is trying to avoid a lot of like pickup videos and things like that. What other people picked up. I want to. I don't want that to be enticed down rabbit holes. You know what I mean? So I started. I remember the latter part of last year where I said, like what you do, you buy things to supplement additions to
improve it for me anyway.
For you to improve them. And I said, I'll do that as well. And I've got, I did do it with a couple of things, as you know. I bought the Into the Spider-Verse box, which is that was only 15 quid. That was nice. And I'm not, and I've got room in there for when we have a steelbook and when the other next film comes out, whenever that is. You know what I mean? I've got them all in one. And I've done it with another item, which the videos are going to be up later in the week. But I will say that those items there were bought and the videos were filmed in November. Because when I went into December and I had this, as you know, I stopped doing videos for a little while, for a few weeks, and I slowed right down. I had a handful of videos that I hadn't yet released. And I'm still sat on some of them videos. And I have deleted a couple because I did do a Joker Folie à Deux steelbook opening video, which I've deleted. The steelbook that, you know, the one that you've done an opening of. And I deleted that video, but I've still got a couple of opening videos this week just to get them out. But that's stuff that was bought prior to my sort of cutting back. Now, my cutting back is exactly that. It's not going cold turkey. It's not stopping collecting. It's refining it.
Yeah.
It's refining it to what I want it to be, to what I need. For argument's sake, okay, the Deadpool Wolverine, I got the 2 steelbooks, right, both of them. I've just sold one. I'd opened the Wolverine one and kept the Deadpool one sealed. I needed one opened. I don't know why I'd done it that way around. It worked out well that I'd done it that way around. On face value, I thought to myself, why didn't I keep the Wolverine one sealed and open the Deadpool one? Because I prefer the Wolverine one. But I've sold on one of them, which was the sealed one, which is my least favorite, which is the primary Deadpool one. So I've got the primary Wolverine one still. And I sold it. I sold it for like 30 quid. Right. And I'm happy that I sold it, because I was looking at it and I was thinking, why did I need the 2? Not to mention, let's get past the fact that I actually got them for free in the first place because of a screw up with Amazon Italy. So I didn't even pay for them anyway, but I still sat looking at them thinking, why have you got the 2 of them? You know, deleted expletive idiot of a person. You've got 2 of them. So let's get rid of one of them and just keep one. That's all I need. So I did that. I had the Gladiator 2 steelbook on order. And I've cancelled it. I've cancelled it because I've seen Gladiator 2 twice, once on my own, once with a wife.
Yeah.
And then I found myself saying, when am I going to watch this film again? Gladiator 1, I've got on standard Blu-ray, that's it. And I've not watched in probably I've not watched it since I've had the Blu-ray, that's for sure. I've probably not watched the film in nigh on 20 years.
Wow.
Right? So that asks the question, when are you going to watch part 2 again? So why are you buying part 2 on still when all you're going to do is stick it on your shelf? You're not gonna watch it.
No.
Right? So why am I doing this? So, and then I'm thinking, well, it would be much better for me to probably track it down, pick it up down the line if and when I want to rewatch it again.
Yeah.
Even the steelbook then will probably be far cheaper. But then I probably wouldn't want the steelbook anyway, and I'll just pick up the standard, whatever it may be, 4K, Blu-ray, whatever one, a fraction of the cost of what it would be to buy now and just stick on my shelf.
Yeah.
So you've sent me a video the other day. So tell me a bit about that video. I did watch it, but for the people watching, and that was, what was the title of the video?
I don't know. I'm trying to think what I sent you.
It was that fella talking about a similar sort of thing. It was the word he used.
Let's scroll back. What day was it?
I don't know. I don't know what day it was that you sent me it.
Oh, here we go. On Thursday, collecting physical media isn't fun anymore.
Oh, is it sustainable? That's the word he used.
It's not sustainable. Yeah, he's got that on the thumbnail.
Okay. So let's talk about that. Is it sustainable? I didn't like the use of that word. Right, because the answer to the question is straight away is yes, it's sustainable. If you're not wanting to chase every single thing that's released, of course, it's not sustainable picking up every item. Right, that's it's the same sustainability. You know, I could ask the same question in the comic book collecting world. I could ask the same question in the toy collecting world, stamp collecting, whatever it may be, coin collecting. You could ask, is it sustainable? Because there's going to be far more available than what you can actually sustain financially.
Yeah.
All right.
Or
So
accommodate in your house, you know,
yeah,
space
that's
wise.
right. Yeah, no, absolutely. So is it sustainable? Yes, it's sustainable if you step aside space, right? Let's talk monetary terms here. It's sustainable if you are selective and you get just what you want. I think that's the problem. I think that's the primary issue. I know that you've got space issues. I get that, but let's take space out of the equation for you. Let's live in a world where space isn't an issue. Is it sustainable for you?
Yes, yeah, it would be sustainable, but I would only collect what I want to collect. I wouldn't get into. And again, I think this is an easy trap for YouTubers to get, certainly within our niche, to get into that sort of here's what's new on Monday, picking every title up, and maybe some of those you're not really that fussed about. You know, I've seen certain YouTubers, big YouTubers, that pick stuff up and then they're saying in another video later down the line, why have I got this? You know, I'm not going to watch it, so I might as well get rid of it. And I think it's from our point of view, it's changing our mindset, and just certainly more for you than for me anyway, is you very much got sucked into those collector's editions, and you're just picking up all pretty much most of them, and then you're questioning, why do I need this on 4K? Why do I need a steelbook? Why do I need the art cards? I think some of them you've been really happy with, but
Yeah,
a lot of them have been lackluster, and you're now questioning, why do I need this?
Yeah, the you know, as you've pointed out not long ago, and I pointed out over a year ago as well, that there's the latter part of the year sees a huge influx of releases. Right, the latter part of the year you're always going to get that, because that latter part of the year is the culmination of a perfect storm of release window, because you're coming out of summer. Right now, I know that I'm kind of talking past tense here in a sense, because the summer release isn't a thing now, in the sense that you get major releases all year through because there's so many of them. But certainly in the summer, these sort of things, they start ramping up.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the later summer releases you see come out at the latter part of the year. You have Halloween, right, which always sees an increase of horror titles re-released and whatnot, and also you're coming into the festive period, so let's put out a load more special edition releases to entice people as gifts. So you have this coming together of these three elements that combine to give the end of the year a overwhelming feel of release, right? Now, it's true that the physical media collection world is on a decline. That goes without saying, right? So the companies know they've only got a certain window of time left to make their money, make money, right? So let's force a lot out now. Let's force a lot out. I'm pretty sure that AI has now obviously stepped in to help create the 4Ks, as you know, which is a quick win, which is far quicker process than physically people doing it. And it leads to a lesser quality of item released than what you would have got had it been done properly. So yeah, I don't like it when you say I got sucked in. It makes me sound weak. But yeah, the truth is, I probably did. I did. What it is, that inspiration. It's the inspiration that comes from and inspiration is a very positive word here. It's that inspiration that comes from running a YouTube channel focused on collecting while watching other people collecting, while being active in a lot of the Facebook groups about collecting and getting caught up in a kind of hysteria of this item's getting released, will it sell out? And then, because I'm as bad as the next person, right? When something comes up for a pre-order, I haven't even, this is the crazy part, I've not even seen the film. Right? I'll go, because a lot of these orders, as soon as the film hits the cinema, you've now got a pre-order available for said film, because that window is so small. And this is another tactic that they utilize to get you, because it's that fear of missing out combined with whatever, and the window of release is so small that they now advertise a release weekend for a majority of stuff, not everything. Disney don't do it. Combined with that fear of missing out, has you pre-ordering items that you've not ever seen. Right? So you go in, and then when you can't order it, you're feeling gutted, like, I've missed out on that. It's sold out. Nosferatu, for argument's sake. I know that steelbook sold out. I didn't even notice it come up, and then when I did, it had sold out. I didn't really feel upset or anything about that whatsoever. But
But what I would like to say is, you say it's sold out, but is it sold out? Because I'm seeing a growing trend, and not just with one company, with several companies. And I think it is a way to manipulate people, is some of this, they're putting stuff out of stock when it isn't out of stock, but they're driving FOMO to them when it comes back into stock. Oh, I must order it because it's going to go out of stock again.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I totally agree with you.
And that is happening a lot in this last year. I'm seeing it not just with one retailer, but with various couple of them.
It's psychological tactics.
Yeah, they're doing it. They're doing it, and you're thinking, oh God, yeah, this is sold out really quick, and then a few weeks later down the line, suddenly all back in stock again.
Yeah. I think one of the over time, one of the worst items I've seen for that, and I'm not talking about it because this is kind of a bit different, but the same. An older title, but you're right. You're totally right in what you're saying. It's psychological tactics to get you worried that or upset, whatever, that you've missed out. So it comes back up again, and you pounce on it, and then you feel this level of euphoria, so to speak, that you've
got something that's going to go out of stock.
Yeah, that you've got it. You've managed to get it. You've staved off FOMO, and these are items that a lot of people haven't even seen. They've not seen the film.
No.
All right. So,
and I know this as well. And again, it was the Deadpool and Wolverine steelbooks. The big one in the UK. They went out of stock on Zavvi, HMV. But strangely enough, you go onto Amazon Italy, readily available. Exactly the same steelbook. Okay, the J card might be in Italian. It's not got English J card, but you read the J card probably once. It's the steelbook in the film that you're interested in.
I do think there are an element of people that don't like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That they would rather pay over the odds for an English J card than I couldn't give a toss.
No.
Film plays in English with subtitles, if it has subtitles embedded in certain parts, things like that. I couldn't give a toss whether it's a German J card, do you know what I mean? A Dutch J card, a French, Italian. I mean, my Deadpools and Wolverine came from Italy. Yeah. It's the same steelbook.
Yeah, exactly the same. Same disc. It's just like you say, back in the day, they used to have different designs for different countries, and you had the print. They were printed on the back of the steelbooks. But obviously, they shifted towards just, all around the world, the same steelbook, and we'll just slap a different J card on the back in whatever language it's being sold in.
No, that's right.
Whatever
I was having
country.
my. Oh no, it's not. I wondered if my Riddick one had printing on the back. It didn't. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. It's yeah, it's. I don't know. It's. I've lost my train of thought as well. I don't know what I'm saying now. There I was on a roll, and all of a sudden, it's just gone from my mind.
It's vanished. It's vanished.
It's gone from. Do you know what? Right, this is just a little anecdote, right, about that very sort of thing. I was on a bus once, right, and I sat there with my phone, right, and it had one of those, you know, when before the sort of facial recognition and that rubbish that phones have now, it was one of those ones where you have a pattern to open it, and you go,
yeah,
right. So I sat there on the bus. I had my phone in hand, and I was watching a geezer opposite me. He had his phone out, and he drew his pattern onto his phone.
Yeah.
And I watched him do it. I could not recall how to get back into my phone.
Oh.
My pattern had gone out of my head after watching him input his.
Yeah.
And seriously, because I couldn't get through that level of security, it was an iPhone. I tried resetting it at the end of the day. It wouldn't. I could never get back into that very phone. No matter what couldn't get back tonight to get on the phone.
Oh no!
Even factory reset wouldn't allow me to get back into it because of that. I couldn't get past that. Just watching it do that had me. Anyway, just a little like anecdote.
I'll tell you the other thing that I find. I'll either go on my phone or laptop or whatever. I'll go to do something, and I'll get distracted by, I don't know, something on the feed, and I'll look at that, and then I've forgotten what I was looking at. I was supposed to be looking at. That happens to me a lot.
I know, it's crazy.
And you just think, why did I come on here? And I've got distracted by something else. Oh, what's that about? You're like, oh, what was I looking at? Well, there we go. Maybe it's just my age. I don't know.
No, yeah, I know. It's great. It's mental. Anyway, what was I saying? Where was I before I got distracted? I don't know. Let me jump into some messages because there's a little handful there. So let's just. We've been talking 42 minutes, so let's just say hello. James, Jim Jam Movies and TV. Good morning, gents.
Morning.
I bet you was blown away with that. James got gifted the big Never Ending Story set by.
Oh wow!
You know that massive big.
Yeah, the imprint.
Yeah. He I think Big Paulie and whatnot. Those guys came together and got it for him. Lovely.
Very, very nice.
Andy Berry. Morning, Andy. How you doing? Mike. Hi guys. Hi Mike. Hope you're well. Hope all's good with you. I'll start saying love you both. Don't change too much. Just tweak finger red number 1. John Robinson. Morning, AJ and Matt. Good morning, John.
Morning.
Hope you're well. Mike says, with physical media, I'm only to the point where I'm only buying if I'm desperate to own a movie, which is basically never. I think, I think your collecting is based, you do your cinema trips, right? Which, hats off to you. Just like Chris, Cypher Sigma Chris, I think you and him are probably the people that I know the most to head to the cinema.
Yeah.
And you collect the tickets. You've always collected the tickets. So I think your collecting need is kind of fulfilled at that stage with the tickets, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's probably something there. I've always collected physical media from me being a young lad. I've had, for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe I wasn't hugged enough by my parents when I was young and it felt this need to collect stuff. Who knows what it may have been, but there we go. Roger. Hey, Roger. Well,
Roger.
Sorry. Rog. If I'm very inactive in your, if you're still watching in your Facebook groups, it's not because I'm ignoring them or anything. I've actually, even though I'm still present, or the page is present on Facebook, I'm not. I've deleted Facebook from my phone, so I don't get into Facebook because
I don't really spend much time on there.
It was very much part of my stop spending because I was seeing in these groups people selling stuff, and I'd started, and I've got some nice releases. Don't get me wrong, but I just I needed to make cuts, so to speak. That's not to say I won't go back into Facebook at some point when I'm at a point where I feel, okay, I'm winning this. I've won. I'm where I want to be. Brian Smith, morning, guys. Hope you're both okay. It's difficult being a collector, and I have lost control, to be honest. I need a major cull. You've been thinking. You've been toying with that lately, haven't you, Matt? Have you not?
I have. Yeah.
It's
the second time this has sort of come around in my head, and each time I think about doing it, and I start looking at what I've got, but then I'm like, but I really like this, so I don't really want to get rid of it. So it's just,
I know it's difficult.
It's almost like you got sort of two people in your head. One saying, "No, come on, this is silly. Why have you got two editions of the same film?" But then there's the collector side of me. But I like this edition. I like the stuff that's in it. I like the design of it and all this sort of thing. So I don't know. I'm at a point where I just think anything new that's going to come out, I'm not going to collect it. Like the DC stuff, the new DC universe, I'm not going to collect those. I'm just going to watch them, and I may go to the dark side and, sort of.
I sit here smiling because I know that. I know that at some point you'll give in. I know to a release or two is inevitable.
Yeah.
It's inevitable. So I find it amusing.
Yeah.
I'll just wait for that "I told you so" moment. I told you so.
Yeah, I know.
It's interesting because recently, and I'm not doing it. Don't worry, this ain't. I'm not. I know I've done my cull in the collection. It went on for a long time, shelf by shelf, and now I'm thinking, given where I am with my thoughts, which are far different than what they were a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
How much more would I pull off of the shelf now if I'd done it now than what I did then? Or if I do a round two now, how much more would I actually pull off? Because I have another thing I've been thinking about doing is looking at some of these shelves, and it isn't about culling. It could lead to it though. That's the problem. Is that I go through the shelf and I start questioning, when did I last watch this film? Well, let me just grab a handful from behind me, right, of films on here. All right, I've only got like half a dozen, and let's have a look at when I last watched it. Okay, Long Kiss Goodnight. Last time I watched that was VHS days.
Wow.
Right, and I've got it in the collection. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Last Christmas. That's a yearly watch for me. That film, it comes around every Christmas. My missus says, "Let's watch Last Christmas." Ironically, the last watch of that this year was done on Netflix.
Okay.
My missus has Netflix. I don't have Netflix. She has Netflix. And she was going, "Oh, let's find a film on Netflix." And I was just sat there one evening. I was like, go on then. And this came up, and it was like, I put it on because I quite like this film. Although on my last watch of it, I watched it from a far different, and I think this is a good film. I watched it from a far different perspective than what I ever had before. And the perspective I watched it for is that this is a film about a woman having a complete mental breakdown and, a complete mental breakdown and having visions of people and things that aren't actually there.
Oh, I've not seen the film.
Romantic comedy that it is. Next up, Lock Up. Right, Stallone. I've only ever watched this film once, and it was recently. It was a yeah, and I'll be honest, I can't recall anything about the film. Can't recall anything about. I remember enjoying it. Can't recall any moment in that film. Right, I've only got 4 more here. The Last Duel I picked up, cheap. I wanted to watch it. I haven't watched it yet. All right. Lucy, I watched at release.
Yeah.
I haven't rewatched it yet. Last of the Mohicans. Yeah, I watched it back in the day when it came out. I haven't watched it on physical media yet. This isn't going very well, is it? And Le Mans 66, which I saw a clip for it, and I thought, you know what, that looks really good. So I picked it up cheap. Obviously, it was a cheap pickup, and I haven't watched it yet. Right, and that's just a handful.
Yeah.
So technically, based on that, there's only one film in there that gets a rewatch, and that is Last Christmas, because it's a Christmas film. I'm not saying Long Kiss Goodnight I'd probably really enjoy if I watched it again. Okay. Yeah, but it just shows the absurdity of of collecting. It does simply. Yeah.
Although, I mean, I did a video yesterday which probably come out later this week. I'm not going to say what it is, but it's a famous director, and it's the collection of films that I have of this director, and I show each version of them, and there's 2 or 3 of them that I've still not actually seen. So that is now I've thought, no, I need to watch these films. So I've actually put them aside, and I've got a pile, and I think that's the way forward I'm going to go with rewatching films, is if I can do a video on a particular type of film or collection of films, then it almost sort of kickstarts you and inspires you to think, right, now I'm going to watch this series or watch that film, because it's so easy with like the streaming sites to sit there in the evening to just be scrolling through and just think, oh yeah, we'll watch this, rather than we just become lazy not to go to the shelf and think, what's on the shelf? We're all doing it, even as collectors. We've got all of these films, but then we're just scrolling through our phones or on the TV or the tablet or whatever, to find something to watch.
It's not a bad idea. I mean, I was trying, I've got a thingy tonight. I've got a video coming up tonight, like my latest watches, because I keep trying to get back into that series of just talking about what I've watched recently. And tonight's, I've got one coming tonight, and it goes into physical media that I've watched, the TV that I've watched, and cinema that I've watched, newer films. It's not based over the past week. It's based over the past couple of weeks. And I don't know whether to do it weekly or every 2 weeks or what. But anyway, and I know that when I was last doing it, I was doing that sort of how many degrees of 7 degrees of separation, that one would have to lead to another based upon an actor, director or whatever, to try and get to watch some of the films that you just don't think about pulling off the shelf. But I don't really want to do that anymore, that way of doing it. So I don't know whether I should just take a shelf and say to myself, let's pick off all the films that I haven't watched, that I've never seen, because there are films I haven't seen, off of those shelves, and start working through them when you want to watch something.
Yeah.
That's what I'm considering doing, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah. I don't know who your director is. I got no idea. Ridley Scott.
No, I won't say, because
we'll see. We'll see. It is, isn't it? I've guessed it. No, I'm not. Don't tell me. We'll see if I'm right on that one. Check my video. When's that coming up?
Probably either Wednesday or Friday. I don't know yet. I haven't decided which day to post. But,
we'll see who
but
it is.
Interestingly, this morning I saw a little video. Fellow YouTuber, Scottish geek guy. I don't know whether you
I do know.
subscribe to him.
Yeah, his favourite film. His favourite film is Jurassic Park.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
He did a little video, only a couple of minutes long, and it's interesting because I've not experienced this yet. But he was saying he's got Amazon Prime, and the other night his wife wanted to watch 30 Days of Night, you know, the vampire film.
Oh, yeah.
And
did you know, just before you do, did you know that's based on a graphic novel?
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Because I do have a DVD version of that, and it comes with the graphic novel. Well, an excerpt of the graphic novel.
Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah. Anyway, go on.
And actually, when he was talking about it, I thought, actually, I haven't seen that film for some time. So it kind of almost inspires you to watch something. And again, I think this is what we do in the community. We influence each other. You see a film and think, oh, yeah, I've not seen that for a long while. Yeah, I want to watch it. Yeah. Anyway, getting back to what he was saying, they watched the film, and he said that every 5 minutes, this is on Amazon Prime, there was an advert. And he said it was the same advert time and time again for, I think he said it was the Ring doorbell. Yeah. And he said it was crazy. He said, these blooming adverts actually putting me off ever buying this product in the first place. So here's a message to Amazon: don't keep repeating your adverts. But also, he nearly got to the point where he said, I'm going to turn this off, order it, because it's not in his collection. Order the film, wait a couple of days, and then watch it physically, because these adverts are just so annoying, apparently.
And then send it back for a refund.
yeah. But I haven't noticed that with Amazon of late, but I don't know. I've not noticed loads of adverts within the film. I know on Netflix you get the odd little 20-second advert, but they're not like constant. So I'll be interested when we go on to Amazon the next time to watch a film if I start getting lots of adverts. Because if that's the case, that's really going to annoy a lot of people. Because again, that's the beauty of physical media, is you can put a film on and you can just lose yourself in it. Because with these adverts, and I mean, you and I have been used to, you know, when we were younger, when there was no satellite TV, no streaming, the only way we watched film, unless it was on BBC, ITV, Channel 4, you would always get a certain amount of adverts.
Yeah, every 15 minutes, yeah.
You know, so we were kind of used to it. But certainly in most recent years, with, you know, a lot of the streaming sites, they haven't had the adverts. People have got used to watching films as they would on physical media or in the cinema, uninterrupted. But now, you know, Prime are doing it, Netflix are doing it, Disney's doing it, I think. And this will actually then drive people away from these streaming sites, because they'll think, no, you know, I'll go and pick it up on DVD. You know, you can pick up 30 Days of Night for a couple of quid, you know, on DVD. And you've got you might have an advert at the start of it. I know there was a period with some films where I remember seeing like a Mars bar advert on the front of a DVD, but you can skip it or fast forward it.
Yeah, but
whereas you can't do that.
If it's at the front, if it's at the beginning, no issue. Even if it's unskippable at the beginning, no issue. It's that during, it's that breaking it during it. But what happens when physical media dies? It won't drive people back to physical media. It won't sort of reignite the you know, all of a sudden players are going back in. You know, these you see all the machines have died down, making the, you know, they've been switched off. All the machines that make these players. All of a sudden that everything lights up and these machines start producing en masse play again or anything like that. That's not going to happen. What I like is that I'll put these adverts and then people start venturing outdoors. People start venturing out into the you know, the
Into
sunlight.
the sunlight.
The sun. That's what they'll start doing until they.
The only thing I can see is like a bit of a resurgence that you've had with vinyl. Obviously, the sound of vinyl is very different to CD, digital, and all the rest of it. So they have started making record players again.
Yeah.
That's it could happen. There could be like some smaller companies that, you know,
but it'll be very
make players again. But the main players, I think it's only Panasonic and Sony now that are making 4K players, Blu-ray players, and DVDs. I think there might be like companies like Bush that are making DVD players still. But your LG, your Samsung, they've all stopped. Philips, I think they've stopped.
I mean, I'll be honest, right? I've actually toyed with the idea of picking up a PlayStation 5.
Okay.
It's been sorry?
Disc version.
Yeah. I've got to be very careful. I've got to be very careful with this, right? Because, you know, on the one hand, it's getting another 4K player as a backup, so to speak, or use that and put my one away that I've currently got. Whatever. I don't want to get into the whole game side of things.
No.
You know, there might be one or two games, but I have to be careful. It's something I wouldn't jump into lightly. I have to really, really play with my mind and why, the reasons.
Yeah.
I'm certainly not going to.
Why a PlayStation 5 though? Is it just for the player, or because you wouldn't want to play games on it, would you?
No, there's. I think I have to do some research on this as well. There was Playtendo Pete showed a game of a load of old sort of arcade games, and I'm sure that it had the old arcade Punisher game on there. Now,
okay.
There was a Punisher game made in 2004, 2005 that was actually voiced by Thomas Jane.
Right.
He voiced the Punisher in this game after doing the film, and I've got that game on PlayStation 2 still. I've got it over there actually, I think, with my Punisher DVDs. And I played that game to the end, and it was very much based upon the Garth Ennis comics of the time. A lot of the violence and stuff that goes on in it is stuff that occurred in the comics, and it was really good. But there was in the 80s, I'd say there was a Punisher game, just like where you're going along the front screen, like what they used to do.
Yeah.
And it had that on it, and I was tempted for that. I was tempted for this one game, but yeah, no, not something. I it ain't like next week I'll say, "Well, I've got PlayStation 5." No, it would be down the line. I'd have to toy with it.
Thing that puts me off about that console, it's just so big, isn't it? Where the heck do you put it? I mean, I've got a S360, Xbox.
Oh yeah,
X, and that plays Blu-ray and 4K. However, it only works through an app, so you have to download the Blu-ray app on the Microsoft Store, which is free.
Yeah.
But in the future, will they get rid of that app?
Possibly.
And then you can't. So I'm more considering maybe buying a backup player.
Yeah.
In case I've got two 4K players and I've got the Xbox, but I am considering buying a backup player. Keep it sealed in case things do sort of go awry in the future. I don't know.
I think we'll have to at some point.
Yeah.
Adrian says good morning. Morning, Adrian. What is two old geezers complaining about? Says Gary.
Yeah.
One of the busiest men in YouTube. I don't know how he does it.
No, I don't know how he does it.
The Marvel and DC Marshlands. If I had a nickel for each time I have had to ask a question of this video, I'd easily be a millionaire 6 years ago. But at least looking back, when's enough? Yeah. Some of the simplest things sometimes. What he's referring to there, because that came up at the point where I was talking about the loss of my phone because I was watching someone else input their thingy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Any age, man.
Easily
Morning,
done.
lad. Got his movies. Morning, Scotty. How you doing? I do my best to collect as much, but sometimes there's just too much. I get too excited about Marvel and DC, especially lately. Just got that itch, trying to share what little I can on shorts. I have to check that out. I don't think I'm sub to you.
No, not heard of the channel.
Marvel and DC Marshlands. Let me just take a photo of the title. Otherwise, I could go through the thingies again, but I'm lazy. There we go. I've got that now. Since 91, but the urge gets bigger every day, it seems. Yeah, the urge is, I get that. Richard. Oh, morning, Rich. How you doing? Morning, belated Happy New Year to you both.
Gee.
Yeah, I did. Richard, I met him once, didn't I, in Bromley? He came down. And when he's down again and got the time, I will again. As long as we can work out the time. Good morning, gents. Morning, Jers Lounge. How you doing? Yes, go Dark Side once, maybe Dark Knight. How many Dark Knights have you got? How many Batmans? You got Dark Knight several times?
Yes. Yeah, I've got Dark Knight about 3 times, I think. 3 times on Blu-ray and a 4K as well.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Cool. Richard says, did you both see From Roger Moore with Love on BBC over Christmas? It was well worth a watch. Did you not?
Okay.
I don't. I'm saying that. Did you not? Not in the sense that I watched it, and I'm surprised you didn't.
No.
I didn't watch it. I don't have a TV license. I don't pay.
No. I'll have a look on BBC iPlayer then.
Yeah, I don't use TV. I don't use TV in that respect. The only thing I used to watch on the BBC was Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I say that in the past tense because I did watch that Shooty Good was first season. I didn't bother with his Christmas special this year.
No, I've just given up with
Doctor Who's done for me now.
Yeah. But it's kind of tainted even the stuff that's gone before for me now. I've just got no interest in it whatsoever.
Yeah, no. Movie Chad said he saw Moana 2 today. It was pretty good. I don't think I've seen Moana 1. I think I've seen bits of it.
Yeah.
My daughter watched it back in the day.
Yeah, my daughter. Yeah, I'm not really big into the Disney stuff, really.
So you got... Oh, where are we?
I think that's on... Is that on Disney Plus now? I don't know.
I don't know. I know it's up on the download sites. I don't visit ever. There we go. That's Marvel and DC talking to. Did you see that? This year I'm coming back and what I buy, and I am making an effort to watch at least one movie a day from my collection. That's a big ask.
Not always possible though, is it?
Yeah, there's times when I couldn't watch a movie a day.
No.
As much as I would like to, or you know, I'll be honest. Like I said yesterday, I sat down and watched Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
Gareth's fault completely. Gareth over at Video Tasties, because like I showed you, Matt, he made me buy this Saving Private Ryan book by showing me some old making of books that he had, and I bought this for £2.50 or 52 pence on eBay.
Great price.
And then I put the film on, and then the film started, and I think for the first half hour, I was sat there thinking, am I in the mood for this? And I thought through it, and yeah, I watched it to the end. I like the film, but what I know is that mentally it leads to me now very soon revisiting Band of Brothers. That's what it will do. Not the specific. I was going to say the specific, then not the Pacific, but Band of Brothers. It will make me it will make me revisit that. Deep dive Punisher game, man. Much appreciation there for obvious reasons. Yeah, I don't know. if you're aware, but the Punisher's my favourite comic book character. I do have every comic book of the Punisher since Amazing Spider-Man issue 129. Guest appearances as well. I don't know. There's a Punisher up there. Look, there's a Punisher right above my head.
Yeah,
Punisher figure right there. But yeah, anything Punisher. Yes. Kiz Parsons. Good morning, lads. Yes, the phone story. Yeah, I know. I got a PS4 VR headset, which is good for watching my 3D movies.
Ooh.
I tried that. In the sense that my son, Christian, my middle son, he got years ago now. He had PS4. He got the VR headset, or I got him it for Christmas. I don't know if I got him it or if he bought it himself. But I did do a couple of the games. I had to go on a couple of the games. I attempted to watch a film. I didn't watch a film through it. I had to look at what a film would look like through it. But I'll be honest, I couldn't sit there with this thing attached to my face for watching a film.
No, it doesn't appeal to me. I mean, I've got the 3D screen, projector and a screen. I actually just bought some more 3D glasses because the ones that I've got they look a bit daft, to be honest. The design look a bit, yeah.
Yeah, but no one's looking at you, and no one's.
No, I know.
It's not like people are going to drive,
Yeah, no, it always bothers me.
Start laughing at you, pointing and laughing.
Yeah, this new pair, they're rechargeable, and they just look a little bit more stylish. And I got them cheap, and I just thought
it's all about the style.
So yeah, I do like to. Yeah, I get that. I've heard the VR is very good, but I don't like the idea of just being sort of enclosed and not aware of the surroundings and stuff.
I enjoyed one of the things you got with it. I think was this like cage dive thing with sharks.
I've seen a video of that. Yeah,
that was quite good. And I tried a driving game, but that started to give me motion sickness. So
I think that's what I would get, motion sickness with it.
And then he had this game where you were fighting you was going around this place and you were fighting these blocky looking people. They didn't look real. They just looked like maybe made out of blocks. And that was quite enjoyable. I don't know about other games like, I'm sure he has other games. I'm sure he doesn't even use it anymore. I know he's got a PS5 now. So that's he's probably even sold that on. But yeah, some of it was quite good. But I couldn't sit, and I'm not knocking you for sitting and watching a film. If you can do it,
yeah,
fantastic. I couldn't do it. I couldn't sit there with this thing on me and watching a film in there. Not for me, most definitely. I mean, I don't even do 3D, as you know. I know you're big into 3D, Matt. I'm not. I don't. It doesn't appeal at all. It got to a point where, I remember going to see Avatar at cinema, and faults on Avatar aside, I thought that the 3D was, it was fantastic because
the
time that I'd ever seen 3D used for depth rather than for stupid stuff coming out of the screen at you, and it looked great. But it got to a point where if I could choose between going to see a 3D film, a film in 3D, or a film normally, I would opt for the normal showing, not the 3D.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons. They've stopped producing 3D TVs for some years now. It just the majority of people weren't interested in it. They didn't want to sit there with glasses on. I mean, the ones in the cinema were very lightweight and ideal. The ones that with the projector, because there's a little battery in it, there's a little bit of extra weight to it. I mean, wearing on top of glasses as well isn't ideal, but
so if you half inch the cinema ones, would they work?
No, because it's different. There's two technologies. So the cinema one's what's called passive. So there's no battery in it. But you've got the other sort, which is called active shutter. So the actual lens in the glasses is constantly flickering backwards and forwards. so it creates the 3D image from obviously you watching it. There's active shutter supposed to be a slightly better 3D than the passive, although I've seen both, and to be honest, both look as good.
So let me. If I put these active shutter glasses on and they were going, let's assume I'm not. I've just put them on now. Right here. Are you aware of it? Are you aware of something happening? Can you? Or
if you're not watching a 3D film, you would see a slight flicker. So if you just put them on like you've got your glasses on now, you would see a slight flicker.
But when you film, you don't notice.
No,
so
you don't.
My question is: so when you're watching the film, and that's occurring, obviously my field of spectrum is larger than the TV. So what I'm saying is like I've got glasses on now, and it'd be the same as if I was watching a TV. That the glasses, there's an area of the glasses that the TV is not encompassing.
Yeah.
Would I see that flickering in those areas that are not where I'm not focused on the TV?
No, you don't.
All right.
Yeah.
That's all questions I have to ask.
Yeah.
But
to be honest, with yourself having migraines, probably not a good idea that you maybe use those, because there might be a degree of eye strain with them as well. I don't know. I mean, I don't watch 3D films. I haven't watched a 3D film for a good few months, to be honest. Even though I've got quite a few in the collection. But I'd be a bit cautious, certainly if you've got migraines and things. Yeah,
this afternoon I'm actually moving my front room around.
Okay.
So that the TV goes on to. I mean, I am going to be wall mounting the TV at some point. It's not yet, but I'm going to be moving the TV from the wall it's on, where it is. It's on a cabinet. It's to another wall, and moving the sofa from that wall down to there. So where I sit, it should give me. I should be further away from the TV than what I am now. Because obviously my TV was the old place I was in. It's much bigger than the place I'm in now. And the TV is 75-inch TV, and at the moment I feel like I'm in it. To it that it's not. So this afternoon I'm going to move stuff around and see if I can make it better.
Yeah. Have you considered? I know you're not big into home cinema like myself, but have you considered maybe getting like an Atmos sound bar or thing where you get sort of surround sound? Or you're not, that doesn't bother you in the slightest?
No, I mean I had a surround sound system. I did when I was younger.
Yeah.
I'm going back along, and I even like yesterday, my missus was in the room, and the film, watching Saving Private Ryan, I had to turn it down. I had to keep turning it down because it was so loud. The gunshots,
right,
loud coming out of the sound bar. But no, I've not considered. I don't. I know you like your sound and all that sort of thing. It's never done anything for me in that sense.
Okay.
And like I said, the only film that I would ever. And I'm sure there's others, but it's the only film I ever watch and I think, oh, this would be great, is Blade Runner 2049. Anything I can just watch. So no, definitely no, I wouldn't. And I'd have to consider the neighbours as well, because it's just terrible.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And so only on one side really, the neighbours, but I'm very aware of the TV when I've got that on, and what they could potentially hear. So no,
fair enough,
most definitely not. It's just never been something that's overly appealed. You know what I mean? And Richard says, I'm sure you'd enjoy it, because you're a big Steve Coogan is the voice of Moore when he recites the memoir.
Okay. I've popped it on the phone, so I've got it's on BBC iPlayer. So yeah, I'll watch that. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't know anything about that, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm sure that's up your street. So you got any more? Because you done a Bond review recently.
Yeah.
And it got decent views for what we would consider decent views.
Yeah, yeah.
So you got any more of them on your horizon?
There is. One was recorded yesterday, so that would be coming out in probably a couple of weeks' time.
Oh, okay.
Similar format, talking a bit about the film, a bit of trivia, looking at the packaging that I've got. Yeah, I enjoy doing those ones because, whilst I'm a big Bond fan, but I don't have all of the James Bond films. I'm not a fan of Pierce Brosnan. I like GoldenEye, but I didn't like any of the other films that he did particularly. I'd watch them, but they're not films I would necessarily collect. But I do like the Roger Moore, Craig, and Timothy Dalton, and obviously Sean Connery. But again, I only own Goldfinger. I don't own all of the Sean Connery. But
I always thought you did have all the Bonds. It always which does surprise me because I have got all the Bond films.
You have, yeah.
I've got that book set, that comes out twice. Yeah, you got 2 books in there.
Yeah.
And I remember because I always said to myself, okay, no, I won't go back. I'm going to start my Bond collection at GoldenEye. And I won't go back before GoldenEye. And not because I don't like the films or anything. It's just I never rewatch them. I would never sit down and rewatch these films. But then I had the opportunity of getting that book set rather cheap at the time. And I thought, okay, that's just a really nice set. So I'll get it. And I did. But still, that's the other thing. I've got that. But never have I've never once taken a disc out of it and watched from within. And I'll be honest with you, the only Bond films that I revisit are GoldenEye, Dalton's 2.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, that's where I would have started, at Dalton, not Brosnan. I would have started when I said I started the Brosnan era. I started the Dalton era and worked up. Right, so I revisit the Dalton 2, but primarily License to Kill over Living Daylights. GoldenEye I always find very enjoyable watch, with the exception of its soundtrack that sounds very much like a 1970s, early 1980s porn film. Yeah, and then maybe Casino Royale.
Yeah.
And Skyfall occasionally.
I actually watched some of Spectre the other night. It was on the TV. I've got it on 4K. But I quite enjoy Spectre. I know a lot of people don't really like that one, but yeah, the only one that's Quantum of Solace is a bit lackluster.
Yeah.
And No Time to Die, don't mind it. But it's not one of my favourites. Casino Royale definitely first, Skyfall, and then Spectre, then No Time to Die, and then Quantum of Solace. That's my ranking of the Craig film.
Yeah, so I never did get to the end of No Time to Die. I switched it off, didn't I? And,
you did, yeah.
Yeah, and I never did I ever revisit it.
No.
I've never went back to it. I've got it. I've got it in 4K.
Yeah.
There we go.
You never know. One day you might watch it.
This is what I'm saying. This is like the absurdity of collecting everything that I've collected. That I'm saying I have this film. I didn't watch it to the end, but I still picked it up on 4K because of a James. So I've got all the James Bond films.
But what I would say, and I know somebody earlier said that they need to cull. I think that is a good question. If you're gonna cull your collection, I think that's a good starting point You know,
What,
have a
James?
look at your shelves. What? What's that?
What, James Bond?
But no, have a look at your shelves, look at the films, and think, right, am I going to watch this film again? Did I enjoy it? Yes. Am I going to watch it again? Yes. Okay, it stays in the collection. No, let's get rid of it. I think
Yeah,
you've got to be quite brutal when you do it.
you've certainly got to be brutal, but it's a lot harder than that. It is, because you've got the will I watch it again? And this sounds very like tomato, but in my mind, there's a will I watch it again, and I would like to watch it again.
Yeah.
Yes, I would. I will watch it again. I would watch it again. Kind of a scenario going on. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But there's also the fact that sometimes when you get rid of something, then you're like, oh, actually, I really want to watch that now. But then you find yourself picking it up again.
Yeah, I've done that from DVD into Blu-ray. I've done that. Yeah, I don't know. Bao says good morning. Morning, Bao. How you keeping? Hope you're well. John Robinson, question for you, Matt. Apparently, Bond will be coming to 4K this year. Will you be upgrading? Would you be tempted by any? Well, you know, the thing is, you know, it's like it's like what I was just saying. You know, I when I started collecting the Bond films, I was like, oh, I only get a few, but then it opened up and I've got every single Bond film, because it's completist kind of nature. So, you know, for me, let me just start me. I know that's directed at you. I'll let you have your say. But me, I'd say, yeah, all right. I'd grab License to Kill in 4K if they'd done a 4K. But then would it open up to others? That's the question. So what about you? What's your thoughts?
Well, again, I think, and again, this is rather than just jumping in straight away, is let others buy it, listen to the reviews, and then make a sort of informed decision, because not every 4K is worth, not every film is worth upgrading to. Some transfers are better than others. As we know, Jaws is a fantastic upgrade over the Blu-ray, but Demolition Man, the Blu-ray looks really good. The 4K, is there much to it? Okay, there might be a bit of HDR implementation on there, but is it really necessary? Are you going to enjoy it that much more? I don't know. And this is the way I'm thinking, is it's really got to be worth the upgrade for me. Whilst I love the Bond, certain Bond films, am I going to notice a significant difference between the Blu-ray and the 4K? Is there going to be an Atmos soundtrack on it? Is the color grading going to be better? Am I going to get more enjoyment from it? If I see it and, a review of it, there may be some that look better than others. I think it's all about picking and choosing. But for me, it would have to be, if I did upgrade, then I would have to get rid of the Blu-rays. Can't keep both, But I think jury's out on those. I mean, we'll have to see. Like say, if it's AI generated, are some of these things making some of these titles look too polished?
Because aren't the Bond films a very good transfer anyway?
Yes, because when they came to DVD, Lowry did restorations for them.
What, Mike?
What's that?
Mike Lowry? No, don't worry. It's a Bad Boys joke.
No, no, it's Lowry is a company that does restorations, and they did them all on the DVD releases, and that's why you'll find a lot of the DVDs look great, even upscaled. To the Blu-ray. I think guess with the Blu-ray, you've got less chance of the disc getting scratched, jumping and skipping. Whereas with the DVDs, you've still got, the technology is it'll scratch more and this kind of a thing. But 4K, I don't know. I'd have to see like a comparison between the two to see is it worth upgrading. I mean, I've got all the Daniel Craig films in 4K because I didn't buy the Blu-rays of those. I just went straight into the 4K version. So
Yeah,
that makes sense. But yeah, the jury's out on the 4Ks.
no, that's yeah. So you're saying that Lowry did these upgrades on the DVDs.
Yeah,
I assume that the Blu-rays are from those same upgrades.
they are. Yeah, pretty
Right.
much. Just yeah. I don't think a lot was actually done. I think they just literally probably put those transfers straight onto Blu-ray discs. I don't think there's any real upgrades done. So whether they would then go back in and do a new upgrade onto a 4K, I don't know. I guess that would be. I mean, it's Amazon that owns. Well, Amazon would probably own the distribution of the films. Obviously, they're owned by Eon Pictures, but Amazon owns MGM Studios, so I guess they'll be involved in that side of things. Whereas the creative side is Eon Pictures, isn't it?
See, I just want to quickly just show. We'll go back to the other messages. Don't worry, AJ. I got the Bad Boys joke. Good, at least someone did.
I never really watched the Bad Boy films. Never really watched those.
What was I saying? Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the other question is obviously if they do them as 4Ks, would they release them individually or would they release them as box sets?
I know. Yeah, not sure on that one because they've done both, haven't they?
Yeah.
With DVD and Blu-ray, they've released them individually. They've released box sets. They've released certain collections of certain films.
And they get a collection at every release of a film. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, it's just about making money at the end of the day, isn't it?
I think those films have been released more times than bloody Star Wars back in the day. Oh, there we go. Anyway, Rich says his favourite is Spy Who Loved Me.
Yeah, it's a good one.
So are you keeping your next? You can keep. Don't. I'm not pressuring you. Are you keeping your next James Bond review a secret until it comes up?
Yes.
Oh. We don't like secrets on here. License to Kill theme tune by Gladys Knight is a very underrated song.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
So
it's a good.
Have you not you spelled that wrong though, isn't it? Isn't it License to Kilt?
Yeah.
When she wouldn't say kill.
Like...
I don't think she would say the word kill when she sings the song. So it sounds like license to kilt.
Yeah, or is that just her pronunciation?
I don't know. I'm sure. I tried looking it up the other day. I was telling my missus about it. I think it was on the radio, and I said to her, "Listen," because she says "license to kilt," and I'm sure there was. And I was looking online, but I couldn't find nothing about it. I'm sure there's something. I don't know whether I'm just dreaming it or whether she actually sung "License to Kill" because of her religious views, and she wouldn't say the word "kill." If anyone knows, let me know.
Yeah, I have heard of that before, but I
tried looking it up, but I just couldn't. I don't know. They'll release as both individuals and as a box set.
Yeah, I think they will. Yeah.
Yeah, but would they go for one or the other first? Would they go like box set first, get all the sales of that, and then edge out individual releases? So this is the things they sit down and discuss. The psychology, and they'll they'll crunch the numbers and they'll see what is the best way of doing it.
But you see, I guess they are appealing, to myself because I personally wouldn't want to pick up all of them because I don't as I say, the Pierce Brosnan films, don't really do it for me. There are a couple of the Connery films that I enjoy, but not every single one that I would necessarily watch or rewatch. Whereas the Roger Moore ones,
Mm.
4 or 5 out of those, out of the 7 that he made, I would definitely rewatch, regularly, probably once a year at least.
Do you have, or would you, well, never say never again?
I did look at sort of trying to pick that one up, but it's incredibly expensive, isn't it?
Yeah, I do have it,
out of
but
print.
yeah, I do have it. It's a foreign release though. It's not the British one. I'm with a foreign one. What are your thoughts on that as a return for Connery?
Well, I mean,
Bond.
Again, I and it wasn't until I watched the documentary about it that I always knew that Never Say Never Again was the remake of Thunderball, but I never really understood why they did it, and why was it done by a different company
Well,
to Eon Pictures.
It was the rights, wasn't it? The
That's
rights,
right,
were held by someone else, so they make a James Bond film if it was a remake of or based around the Thunderball script, so to speak. So I don't know if it's been some time since I've seen it, so I'm guessing that there's, it's like sort of same meat, different gravy kind of situation.
Yeah, it's essentially a remake of that film.
It follows the same narrative, but different, in visually different, I suppose.
I always quite like on the rewatch now. It's probably, and I think I did watch it not that long ago on. I might have been on Film 4 or something. And on the rewatch, it's definitely dated now. But there's still, I don't know, there's still something about it I quite liked. I think the fact that although it's a Bond film, it's not of the Eon Bond. It is its own thing. Even the title sequence is, you don't get the gun barrel. You get, I think it's just like loads of 007 logos, and he comes into like a training exercise. And I mean, Connery, he is as he is in all the other films. I mean, he's obviously a lot older, but I don't mind it. I think it's quite good. But it was really interesting learning about. There was this big thing that went on for years and years about the rights. I mean, I think it was Ian Fleming. There was Ian Fleming and this other guy, forget his name, but they apparently wrote the script. Well, not script. They wrote the story of Thunderball, but it was over a drunken period. I don't know, several nights or whatever. And this other guy claimed that he wrote the story, and I think Ian Fleming kind of said, that's fine. You can sort of have this story. And then it went on for years and years and years. And Eon Productions got involved, and they weren't happy about it. And like I say, it got made as a remake to Thunderball. And since the guy died now many years ago, and I think the family's kind of released the rights back to Eon Productions, so it's owned by them, but it's still its own. It's its own thing at times. What was it, mid-80s? I think they did it, 83 or 84, something like
that. So I've got a question for you. Have you ever watched The Rock with it in mind, or from the perspective of the fan theory that John Mason is James Bond?
No.
Do you know of that fan theory?
No, never heard of that.
Okay, look it up. There's a fan theory that suggests that The Rock is a James Bond film, in the sense that John Mason, the character, that being a pseudonym of a fake name, is James Bond. So at the end of his tenure as James Bond in the MGM films. After that point, he's caught by the American government. He's locked up, and then you come to The Rock years later, and he's been incarcerated for all those years.
I didn't know that at all. Never,
So just have a look for the fan theory videos on. It's really good. It's really interesting. It does work.
Yeah,
because he says that he was trained by the best British intelligence. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the timelines sort of work and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's there you go. You should revisit The Rock. I think you should revisit. Have you got The Rock in you?
Yeah, on DVD.
You should revisit The Rock and review it from that perspective and see whether it works. Being that you're a Bond.
Yeah, it might be a nice little addition to the Bond sort of area of my channel.
You're a Bond aficionado. Does it work?
I wouldn't say that, but
does it work as a Bond film? As a I think it should. Because I think I like a lot of these fan theories. They some of them hold quite a bit of weight. I'm not so sure about the Kevin McAllister is Jigsaw one though.
No, I haven't heard that one.
Kevin McAllister becomes the killer in the Jigsaw films.
Okay.
There we go. Figures and things. How you keeping? He's posted a little bit more lately.
Yeah, I watched a few of his videos.
Individual standard 4K, then a box set, then steelbooks. Individual release, then box set, as people will double dip. And Kermit said, but in The Rock, he has a daughter. I don't think Bond ever had a child. But in The Rock, isn't...
it does. In No Time to Die.
No Time to Die, No Time...
Yeah, he has a daughter. Yeah, he has a daughter.
Yeah, but let's pretend that's a different Bond.
Not
the Connery Bond. But it does. I'm pretty sure that in The Rock, that daughter is conceived when he's broken out of because the story goes that he breaks out. He has broken out of prison before and then recaptured.
Okay.
Sure that daughter is conceived at that juncture. If I'm not, someone tell me otherwise. So it would still come after. You know what I mean? Because that daughter, when did Connery end his tenure as James Bond? Was it in the 60s?
Yeah, 69.
And The Rock was released in 96. So let's work them on the timeline. So 69. So you're looking at 27-year gap. 27 year from there to when The Rock takes place. So he's been incarcerated for 27 years. I'm pretty sure his daughter was somewhat younger than 27 in that. Look at us analysing it now.
It could have been. I mean, it might.
But it's done on a break, and when he breaks out.
Yeah, they probably obviously because Sean Connery was playing the part. I wouldn't be surprised if it was just a little nod to the audience, just to pop that little bit in about him working for the British intelligence. Just as a little, we know you played Bond in the past, that kind of a thing.
Yeah, but I that's what I want to see from you on your channel. Okay. I want to see you watch it. Who else is up for that? Matt watching The Rock and analysing it as a potential return of James Bond.
Yeah.
You've got to take into account that obviously John Mason is a pseudonym. And all that sort of stuff. But there's a good fan edit of Never Say Never Again where they put in the gun barrel intro and add John Barry music.
Oh, okay. I've not seen that.
Bell says The Rock is a classic. It is. Now, The Rock is, obviously, we've had news recently that Con Air is getting a 4K upgrade. Now, if that's a nice upgrade, for me, that is a must pick up. Right, that is one that I will go for. Right, because I think Con Air is. I don't know. I love Con Air. I remember when if you remember, I've always said that Con Air was a double. I went to see Con Air on the same day as seeing The Fifth Element in the cinema. Me and a mate done a double bill. In my life, I've only ever done 2 double bill film visits, and there's a good reason for that, and that was because of what happened with The Fifth Element and Con Air. I went in to see Con Air, me and my mate, and we both came out and we loved it. It was a fantastic film for me. I went to see Con Air maybe 4 or 5 times at the cinema, right? I was that into it. But I came out on that first view, and I came out about an hour later. We was in to see The Fifth Element, and I was bored. It was like stepping off of a roller coaster and going on to one of them little teacup rides. It was like that for me. It was like I'd gone on, I'd gone into a theme park and I'd gone onto the best ride first, and everything else lackluster. I did come around on The Fifth Element eventually, but so I'd never done another visit since then. So for me, a 4K, and The Rock. I'm hoping The Rock and Armageddon both follow.
Yeah, there is. I mean, I watched a review of Con Air 4K. It's on Kaleidoscope, which is digital version. And he said it looks very good. But apparently there's no actual official release date for the 4K Blu-ray yet. So there's no announcement for that. But
I'm sure it will come.
I'm sure it will do. But yeah, I'd be very. I mean, I don't actually own Con Air on physical media. So if it does come to 4K, I probably would pick that one up because, I see those 3 films, The Rock, Con Air, and Armageddon, kind of all around the same sort of time, weren't they?
They were, yeah. Con Air was The Rock was 97. The Rock was 96. Con Air was 97. Armageddon was 98. Obviously, you had Nicolas Cage with Face Off, but Thingy's more of a. It's Gone in 60 Seconds. It feels more of a fit for the Cage trilogy than, to me, because it's the same producer and that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's what's his name, isn't it?
Bruckheimer.
Yeah,
Joe Bruckheimer. Don Simpson. I think him and Don Simpson. Their last film was The Rock. And that was when they sort of parted ways, but Don Simpson died of was it overdose or something. It's a great film. I mean, you got a fantastic cast in there to start with, really memorable characters. It's highly quotable, right? It never lets up from beginning to end, and it's got I've got a CD soundtrack. The soundtrack, the score is just mental. It's crazy. It's great score. It really is. But so I hope
I'd say that was the late 90s was the sort of peak of Nicolas Cage's career. He really had some belters, didn't he? Some great hits.
I know they didn't want the studio didn't want Cage to be cast in The Rock.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they didn't want him at first, but they let it slide when they got Sean Connery on board, and Sean Connery really wanted to work with Cage.
Okay.
So they let it slide because they had Connery, and so at that point, Nick Cage hadn't, he was like an indie actor, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So into that sort of action hero kind of a role.
Yeah.
And it was Figs and Things says doing all right. Glad to catch the stream. Thank you for jumping on. Hope you are both doing all right. Yeah, we're okay.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Well, I'm okay. Matt can speak for himself. I don't know. Kermit just looked it up, and the girl who played the daughter was 25 at the time of The Rock was filmed. The actress. It was made in
69.
It was made in 96, and she was born in 71.
Okay, so that kind of fits in. He could have left the Secret Service.
Well, he was caught. He would have been caught. He didn't leave. He would have been caught on a mission in America. which is where he stole the microfilm, which has the proof of the JFK assassination and all that on it.
Okay.
He would have been caught, he would have escaped, and then re-imprisoned again. And the British, hadn't, they would have turned around and said, no, we know nothing about it. We which is, would have happened. We know nothing about him. He's nothing to do with us. So it all ties nicely.
I think it was just more of a little bit of a nod, to the fans. Yeah, we know it's Sean Connery. Yes, he was a British agent.
Yeah, no, it would have been. But have a look at some of the theories, the video theories online.
Okay, yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely interesting.
Bal says he picked up Con Air on Blu-ray for £1 at a boot sale.
Wow, that's good. Yeah. What does the Blu-ray look like? Is it a good transfer?
As far as I recall, I watched it. I watched it sort of mid that part of last year. I visited all three of them. Because what tends to happen is if I visit one, I visit the others, in the sense of Armageddon, The Rock.
Yeah.
I tend to do one film leads to another kind of situation, and those three are always tended to be grouped together. If I do a watch of one, it drives me to watch the others.
Yeah.
So in the middle of last year, I watched them all. So yeah, Con Air, I never had a problem with the transfer.
Well, you definitely pick up the 4K of it.
Look, it's a good transfer, 4K, yeah. And I would get, and it's one of those films that yes, I would get a steelbook. Steelbook was
special edition of it, yeah.
And I'd get a special edition of it.
Yeah.
If they'd done one with all the tat in it, which I want to cut. I don't want to get. I want to cut down on those. But like I said, there are certain films that I would.
Yeah. Definitely. And I that's what I think is with these special editions. They need to be films that you really connect with, that you love. You enjoyed them through many, many years of watching them. Whereas some of these things are, they're doing it with new films, straight away, and you've not had that appreciation of it. And
no, that's right. I mean, like, I think I got a video where I showed. I don't know if I've done it yet or if it's a video. I think there might be a video coming out. So as you know, I really liked this film here. I thought it was really good. Black Phone.
Black Phone, yeah.
All right. I think it's a great film. I do. Really worked for me. And recently that's come out as a 4K collector's set with all the bumps. Yeah. And I didn't even think twice about whether I'd pick it up or not, in the sense that I would not.
That surprised me.
Tempt me.
But you like the film. You really like the film.
I really like the film, but I don't think that it's never. I've never thought to myself, I need a 4K.
Okay.
I've never thought to myself, I need a special edition, collector's edition. I think it's that. As you know, horror's not really a genre for me per se, unless it's the older horror films that I grew up on. The newer ones, not so much. So Black Phone, I mean, as I recall, I didn't buy that brand new when it came out. I think I waited for CEX maybe for it to go down a bit cheaper. Have I even rewatched it on Blu-ray? No. I haven't.
No.
Why would I pick up the 4K collector's edition when I rewatched the Blu-ray? It's just crazy. It's just throwing good money after bad.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You do really like the film.
I really like the film on my one and only watch of it. Yeah.
Yeah. You see, I watched it and I thought it was okay, but it didn't really connect with me that much. I just thought, it's all right, but one time watch for me.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, it's but like Kermit says, but the film is the same. You just paying extras for postcards.
You're right.
Posting out a sturdy box. You already own the movie. I know, and that's the therein is the madness, isn't it?
Yeah.
Therein is
But
the
I guess if it's a film that you really connect with, you kind of want something more, like and I get what you say about the booklets, the Arrow editions where they go into about the production, the cast, the crew, and all the rest of it. You do feel like you're getting a bit more value, outside of the disc. Whereas postcards, they're nice, but they're not. Yeah, they're not expensive to produce, and
no, they're cheap to produce. They cost nothing, but you're relying on the same. When I'm given a booklet with a little bit of writing in, I can take that booklet. I can take it with me when I'm traveling to work, like on the tram or whatever, and I can sit there and get it out. I can read it for however long it takes, and it's giving me. I mean, reading's good anyway, right? Because reading, your vocabulary, because your vocabulary dies. Your vocabulary starts dying if you're reading. It gives you a bigger vocabulary of words, and when you don't read and you're stuck in an environment of so many people, that just similar people that you see all the time, you start to lose words from your vocabulary because you're just associating with the same people and the words that they use and things like this. And it's studies have been done on it. It's been, and even I feel that, I don't read as much as I used to, and my vocabulary has suffered because of that. I'm reaching for words that I know that are there that I struggle to now grasp or get hold of in my mind that I used to have. And that you see it in videos sometimes where I'm starting like, what's the word, and I have to rely on using words that are far more common than what that I would have used historically. You give me a booklet, give me a little book on the production of the film, and I'm happy. I'm going to upgrade, like I said, Deep Blue Sea from Arrow. I the minute that came up, right, I'm like, okay, I'm upgrading that film. Deep Blue Sea again, 1999. I remember going theatre to see it, cinema to see it. I had a blast with it. I think it's a great film, highly rewatchable for me. Most definitely an upgrade. But I get what Al's saying, because I really respect Alan's collecting and how he does it.
Yeah. Oh, he's got a wonderful collection.
He's never drawn into the 4K. He's not drawn into the steelbooks or the special editions. And hats off to that. I ain't got that strength. Change comes about over time. And it's like, I think I've said in my videos, okay, if I was to lose my job, if I was made redundant tomorrow, change would have to happen. There and then. It's forced. It's a forced change. But to try and force a change when you're in the same economic status that you were in while collecting, if that makes sense, you're still playing with the same amount of money and you're trying to stop, it becomes a lot harder to do psychologically. And over a year ago, I was saying I'm changing my habits, less of this, less of that, less of that. And I think I buy less of the collectibles now. I do. I still indulge now and then, far less of the collectibles and toys and the figures. Has come about because of the move and because of space and the realization, but not the films. And that's where the change has to happen. I think that whatever's happened over the past year for me, because the past year, 2024, has been hideous. And as you know, Matt, and a lot of it I have kept off of the channel. You knew about the granddaughter and the leukemia middle of the year when it first came about. I told you, but I didn't bring it onto the channel. The attack that I suffered in the early part of the year, you knew about that, but I never brought it onto the channel. And even my mental health issues, I kept away from the channel for a long time. But a lot of them are very relevant now to discuss or to bring. I don't mind discussing things when they're more past tense, when it's a reflective thing. What I would not do is come onto the channel and say, okay, people, a week ago, my granddaughter was diagnosed with leukemia. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that because, number one, I'm not seeking sympathy or anything like that. But I think that it's very to reflect on things is good, right? And I know that the leukemia thing is still an ongoing issue, but so many months have passed that, and she's in a good place anyway, but still ongoing, that I can reflect upon how that has affected things over the past however many months. And all this combined, the attack, the subsequent court case, still waiting on a trial for this geezer, which ain't, which was meant to be now. It keeps getting moved. And I'm pretty sure what's going to happen is that they're going to say time served. The minute they get him into court, they'll say you've served your time now. So, and whether he goes down for other stuff like the knife carrying on other, and the kidnap charge and all that, I don't know, but we'll see. What I'm saying is all that has played a part in this sudden realization of myself that a lot of this doesn't matter. No. This whole thing is stupid in comparison to real events out there. And so this change has come over time. It's one of those things. That's, do you know what I mean? And it happens over time. It's unless something occurs financially there and then that forces you into a change, or in your case, you run out of space and you can say, look, I can't do it anymore because it's overtaking other areas of the house. Can't do it. You know what I mean? You need that. You need something there to kick it into happening because it's very difficult to break.
Yeah.
But there we go. Let's run through his comments because I'm aware that we've hit midday. So I will just quickly run through. There's only a small handful. I wasn't keen on Black Phone. Maybe a second watch. I will enjoy it. It's subjective, isn't it? I found Black Phone at the charity shop for under £1 on DVD. I think I overpaid. Totally agree. If they include a book giving you insight into the movie, then it may be worth the extra cost. Yeah, it's the whole, it really does annoy me when I open up the collector's set and I'm given art cards, a picture book, and a poster.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's all the same stuff. In a different format. It's a picture, a collection of pictures. It's a collection of pictures. It's a larger picture.
Yeah.
It's just pictures in a nice sturdy, and sometimes a nice sturdy boxes are nice. The brain is a muscle and it needs flexing. It does indeed. All they put in these special editions are paper or cardboard nonsense. Such a waste of time and money. I must prefer a bog standard case for me. I get that, but I still stand by a nice, a decent book because to me it's an addition to the special features that might be on the disc.
It's adding something extra to the film,
a bit more insight. As I said to you, I'll show it again. I bought that for £2.50 the other day, sort of a book about the making of and whatnot of Saving Private Ryan, and I used to enjoy reading them books, so it's similar too. Speaking of Deep Blue Sea, I rewatched it the other night and noticed Jane's ears. Oh yeah, Thomas Jane's ears. Yeah, as you always mentioned, he had them pinned back. I never noticed before. I couldn't stop looking. They are very sticky out in that film.
Okay.
He had to have them pinned back for the Punisher. Because, you wouldn't see the Punisher running around with these biggie sticky out ears that could potentially get blown off, catch a flying bullet, or a bad guy, and he's lost his ear hole.
Yeah.
But there we go. So I'm leaving it there for comments. So I'm shutting the comments down now in the sense that I'm closing them and can't read anymore. So I think that's 2 hours have gone. It's 5 past midday. So like Matt, so what does the future hold for you, Matt? When's our next live? Let's talk that one first.
Not sure. I mean, I haven't even thought about it, to be honest. Possibly maybe next weekend if there's if it suits both of us, yeah, I'm sure we could maybe do another Saturday slot.
No,
I don't know yet.
Saturday's
Off the top
free.
of my head.
I think Saturday's free for me. Yeah, I've enjoyed today's chat. It's been nice. We've had some good comments. Always nice to see.
Absolutely.
Let's get rid of the bells.
Yeah, I haven't actually thought about it at the moment.
All right. Well, we'll keep that posted. Do you have any videos this week?
Like I say, I recorded one yesterday, which I've just edited. So yeah, it should be going out possibly Wednesday or Friday. I don't know yet which day. I'll decide later on. But
good.
So yeah, the thumbnail will probably. I've got to create the thumbnail. I should really create the thumbnail before we do the video. That's what they tell you to do. But yeah, I've already done. Apparently, that's what they say. They say you should really create a thumbnail before you actually press record. That's what they recommend, but it doesn't always work that way.
No, I'm sure it doesn't. I don't get the psychology behind that, but there we go.
I think the psychology behind it is that the thought of the video is it's almost like the thumbnail is the sort of the door or the poster, to the video. So that's got to kind of encapsulate and draw people in.
Yeah,
they recommend that you work on that first and then you record the video.
All right.
That's what the experts say. But I have done it in the past, and to be honest, I haven't really noticed much difference.
I mean, I got to say, I did when I'd done the thumbnail. I did think of and picture the thumbnail for the opening of you sending me that Will Smith film.
Oh yeah, about the slap,
slap in the face from Matt V's movies. I thought that was quite, well, is it what's it called?
It's a bit tongue in cheek, isn't it?
Yeah, but is it? What's that word? What's that they call it when you do a thumbnail just to draw people in? It's rubbish. It's
clickbait.
Not. Yeah, that's it. That's the word. Yeah. Is it clickbait? Was that clickbait? I don't know. I thought it was quite witty.
Yeah.
But I mean, surely it drew people. Did draw? Inevitably it drew people in because they think.
I guess. Yeah. I guess you could consider it clickbait because you think, oh, what's all this? Have they had a fallout?
Yeah, that's the point of it. That's the whole point of a thumbnail. I mean, I get it's clickbait if it's I'm saying something that ain't true in a sense. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
It's up to the person's interpretation at the end of the day, isn't it? I guess.
I suppose. Yeah, I didn't get called out on it, so that's a good thing. But anyway, so we're going to leave it there. So thank you everyone who's watched, who's commented. Go and subscribe to Matt over at Matt V's Movies. I ain't added your thing. I will add your link to it. But most people know you anyway now. And we'll see you
maybe next week.
Yeah, maybe next week.
Next Saturday.
Yeah.
So I've just got to check on the calendar, make sure there's nothing. But hopefully Saturday.
Cool. And I don't know, why don't we look into some for the next one? Why don't we look into some fan theories that we could talk about? Bringing up the Rock has made me sort of like, we could do a chat. We could, do a bit of research, bring in some fan theories, film fan theories. Like I said, there's a Kevin McAllister is Jigsaw, with his wanting to build loads of traps to kill people.
Right.
I mean, there's all these fan theories in films, and some of them are very quite interesting too.
Yeah.
But all right, okay, we'll go, and I'll see you later. Oh,
yeah.
thanks for watching.